most brilliant move in the NBA over the last couple of years was Jalen Brunson styling his hair the way that he has. Because
when the hair
now,
flops.
when you pop it back, this is why when you're a boxer, you don't do it. You have to have short hair, because if you get hit,
then it looks like you're getting.
It looks bad. It looks like you're getting rocked. You know. Knicks, Pacers.
Woo,
you're watching
rematch.
This in 2025, not in 2000. I don't think this. I don't think a lot of this existed in 2000 in this way. I wouldn't know, but
it definitely did not.
Even with the context of the Cavs like sort of falling apart from an injury perspective, and Donovan Mitchell didn't even look awesome toward the end of it, but
he was also hurt.
I think the Pacers are legit. I think last year they didn't really have a defense. This year they do. They have an identity. They could go 10, even 11 deep. Their defense was actually in the top like 13-ish. Their offense is more balanced, so they're not going to just try to like stand around a 3-point line and pass it around and fall into the same trap Boston did at times, where they were like getting 2 3-point happy and not generating clean looks. But with Indiana, like they'll attack. They'll also shoot. They'll hit you from the mid-range. Like they have the most balanced offense of everyone left, I feel like.
Indiana didn't surprise me from the standpoint of I wasn't like everyone else who thought that last year's conference finals run was a fluke. I didn't think that.
Okay. Even with the injury context of, because Knicks fans will be like, oh, the Knicks only lost because everyone fell apart.
You lost Game 7 at home by like 35 points. Like I'm sorry. Like I don't know. Like whatever. Sure. Like I mean, like I don't know what to tell you. Like they beat that ass. Like,
I was reminded recently that Indy made 7 of their first like 9 threes. And from the beginning, it was like
the other piece of that series. Tyrese Halliburton was not good in that Knicks series at all. He was not healthy. So, and here's why Indiana doesn't surprise me. They play with a relentless effort and pace on offense that no one else plays at. Kenny Atkinson talked about it in the postgame. He was like, they just keep coming at you in waves and waves and waves. And this is the future of the NBA, Brian. Teams that go, like we talked about, 8, 9, 10 deep are the future of who's going to win these series. Because when your starters are going 40, whatever, like let's go back to the Nuggets series. Adelman could not keep Jokic and Murray off the floor because every time he did, the Thunder would surge a little. So, okay, we have to put those guys back in. But Oklahoma City didn't have to match you star for star. They could keep their bench in. They could maintain. And then now the starters come in and they're fresher. And now your starters are exhausted and we're running down your throat, right? Like, and that is how the Pacers played last season. That's how they played this season. Now, they're more balanced this season. Halliburton's healthier this year than he was last year. So that matters. And to your point, defensively, they are better. So not only is their pace good on offense, they play with a pace on offense, they play with a pace and intensity on defense. Picking you up like Andrew Nembhard does, full court, 3/4 court. Now, most people watching don't think that matters, but it does matter because one, there's an anaerobic tax your body goes under when you have to, I got to huff and puff to get the ball past this guy just to get over half court, right? Number one. Number two, now I'm starting my actions at 11 on the shot clock instead of at 17 on the shot clock. And we know from statistics, the later you start your first action in the shot clock, the lower chance you have of making a shot. It's just math, folks. I don't know what to tell you. Like, I know all of you are like, you hate math and think nerds are ruining basketball. Like, that's not about being a nerd, or it's just a fact. You would much rather think about it. You want more time in the shot clock than less time.
Sure.
Right? That's just what you want. And so when a team forces you to do things late, now you're into hero shot mode. And now guys got to bail me out. And look, Jalen Brunson might be the best hero ball, tough shot maker in the NBA right now. However, and I said this to Dexter when I was on with you guys at the live show, that reason right there is to me what makes their ceiling as an NBA title contender nerve-wracking, because 4 straight rounds of having to make tough shots over tough defense, I mean, your legs are going to give out at some point. Like you're not going to be able to do it. Like at some point, it's going to be like, we can't. Now, they do have an X factor in Karl-Anthony Towns, right? However, again, we talked about this team in Indiana between Miles Turner, Pascal Siakam, Aaron Nesmith, like Benedict Mathurin off the bench, who is just like, not only is he scoring, the reason why he's playing is because he's actually giving an effort and competing on defense. That's why he wasn't playing last year. Carlisle was like, if you don't compete on defense, you're not going to play. He said, all right, man, so he's doing that and he's scoring. So this team doesn't surprise me. So I love what I see out of them, but I got to say, New York Knicks fans, there is an ability this team has, Bryan, to just compete. And that is a skill. Competing hard is a skill. And the Knicks as a collective and individually do that maybe better than any team left in this postseason. And that on its own might be good enough for that's just 2 wins right there on its own, just because they compete harder, right? It's 2 wins flat just because they compete harder.
Yeah.
So,
it's a lot. Like I have so many questions that I need answered about this series, about how we won't know until we start watching games. And this could be a series where, as a lot of series are, game to game, just different. Mm-hmm. Just different from the last. And it's like similar to what we were just talking about with OKC and Anthony Edwards. Like, you have a lot of options. It's not to say that these guys are going to stop Jalen Brunson. I'm not sure you can. But you have a lot of options to try to bother him, essentially. Slow him down, get him off rhythm.
He was bothered by them in last year's series. He was.
He had less help. Sure, and this is where Karl-Anthony Towns is going to be important, because on the other side of Jalen Brunson, you mentioned Andrew Nembhard. Also, Aaron Nesmith is a realistic option. TJ McConnell is an option.
He's another one of those annoying dudes to play basketball against. TJ McConnell, annoying as shit.
And you know what? Like you mentioned, Benedict Mathurin. Mm-hmm. When in doubt with Jalen Brunson, you just throw size on him.
Size on him. Yep.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where it's like, all right, if he can survive on him, like that's a win for the Pacers, and it's something I could see where Carlisle trying in small spurts. I don't think like the primary is going to be between Nembhard and Nesmith
for sure.
For the most part.
And the other thing, Bryan, if the referees don't do that thing where every time Jalen Brunson falls down, they call a foul.
See, because this is why the low-key most brilliant move in the NBA over the last couple of years was Jalen Brunson styling his hair the way that he has. Because now when you pop it back, you know what I mean? This is why when you're a boxer, you don't do it. You have to have short hair, because if you get hit,
then it looks like you're getting.
It looks bad. It looks like you're getting rocked. You know, this is why Devin Haney almost made this mistake against Vasily Lomachenko, where he had the high hair and it was a different color and it was like flopping around every time he would get hit.
I want to be clear about something. Jalen Brunson is an elite basketball player with elite footwork.
Yes,
he is also a very strong individual. He's like a fire hydrant. Very strong. So do not get fooled by every time he ends up on the floor. No. He knows what he's doing. And it's because psychologically, it plays tricks on you. When you see, and I don't care what you and Dexter say, that dude is 5'11". When you see a 6'7" dude on him, and you see a 5'11" guy fall on the floor, your natural inclination is, the big guy must have pushed him, because look how much bigger he is than him. And Jalen's a master of that. He can stay on his own 2 feet, but he falls down because he knows more often than not the refs are going to fall for it and give me a foul call. If, however, they don't do that as much, that's something to be mindful of, because especially if it's a live ball and the ball gets on the ground and Indiana then gets out, and that's a problem, right? So just be mindful of that.
Indiana was 7th in pace this year, and I think that may surprise people who thought it was faster, but it's also because their defense was better. Like that's a sort of a little bit of a trade-off, whereas last year the pace was even more relentless, but still they're faster than everyone left. It might not even be that close. I got to see what OKC's pace was, but it might not even be that close. Okay. Jalen Brunson, there's that question. Karl-Anthony Towns in this series is going to be huge one way or another, like really good, really bad. Like, because there's an offensive pathway to him being dominant if he could just hit shots, if he could take advantage of matchups.
He's not wrong when he says I'm the greatest shooting big man of all time. Like, let's put it this way. There ain't 5 big men in the history of basketball you're taking over him shooting. Like, he is an elite offensive player. Elite.
One thing is hitting the shots. The other thing is punishing mismatches, because this is another team that's going to be, all right, we'll throw a wing on you, like Drew Holiday, like Tobias Harris beforehand. And I wonder who that's going to be. Maybe it's Nesmith.
They might throw Nembhard on him from time to time.
Yeah, I think Carlisle might do that, because you might have Siakam elsewhere. Although I would
get his turn too.
Yeah, he might get the majority of it, but I do wonder how Carlisle is going to play this, and we'll eventually find out in game one. The thing is, he has to make them pay for that. And some Knicks fans will say, well, they have to draw up more plays for him when he has those mismatches. And it's like, when you're making that much money, you can call for the ball and you can get the ball.
Yeah, you don't need to
like
call.
That's just how the NBA is.
Yeah, and his teammates got to recognize that, right? When he's got a mouse in the house, like, space properly. Don't just throw in the ball with two dudes who are like cut through, give him the proper space so the help can't come and dig down. And then
And the Knicks have a bunch of good passers in their starting lineup. They don't have an elite one. The Pacers have an elite one. They actually have maybe the second. They have the second or third best passer in the world right now.
He's so good.
Or fourth, depending on, because like Jokic, LeBron, Luka, Tyrese is in that class. Trae Young,
he's so good.
Trae Young might be
James
rounding
Harden,
out the top
like,
5.
These are elite passers.
This is where Halliburton is, and this is important because the Knicks, they can give up a lot of threes at times, as we've seen, not just against the Celtics but also the Pistons. High quality looks as well, and Tyrese is great at just giving you the ball where you need it as a shooter, and that's also why the Pacers have these very good shooting performances. And my biggest Towns thing is Miles Turner. Miles Turner is going to try and do what Kristaps Porzingis physically could not do, and that is be like, I'm going to stand at 27 feet, at 7 feet tall,
and you have to come out and guard me. Yeah,
stretch you out, and I'm going to shoot. And good luck, because I can make this shot from above the break. I could also do it from the mid range, but I prefer to do it above the break to stretch you out even further and to compromise your defense. And if Miles Turner is having a good 3-point shooting series, that is worrisome.
Yeah, because it's going to force Tibbs' hand, right? What do I do, right? Do I go small, right? Like, how do I combat that, right? Do I get someone to get up into Miles Turner?
Or does he double down and like, all right, Mitchell Robinson?
Or he's go double big and go, fine, we'll get Mitch in there. He'll grab every available rebound, and then,
Yeah, they have a size advantage with that, They have a double big look.
They sure do.
Viable.
What I will say about this series is, if you are the Knicks, you don't want to chase the Pacers in this series. So for me, winning game one is critical for the Knicks, because if the Pacers are up 1-0, well, now you're already extending, right? Because you've already lost home court advantage, right? And it's a thing we always talk about, right? You don't want to be in a scenario where it's like, a great, now we got to win 2 of the next 3, or like, right? And again, with the way these Pacers play, the Knicks are going to be at their healthiest on game one. They're not going to be as healthy in game 2, 3, 4. And I don't mean like an actual injury. I just mean like in terms of actual.
No, this is a point I want to hit.
In the tank.
Let's stay here, because this is a 7-game series that, again, is going to be every other night. Pacers go 10-11 deep, legitimately, not like bullshit. Like one guy comes in and gets a cameo. Like, no, if you look at their playoff rotation, you have 10 guys, 11 guys averaging at least 9.5 minutes per game. And all of them, except 2, have played every single game of the playoffs. That's going down to Jarris Walker and Thomas Bryant.
Yeah, Bryant had a lot of work in that last series.
That's going down to even Ben Shepherd.
Yeah,
another guy who can defend.
He can shoot it too.
Yeah, another guy. He's not like super consequential, but like Ben Shepherd will get a shot. Obi Toppin, Rob mentions him in the comments, might get some extra minutes this series. He's another guy that can fly up and down the court and be a damn nuisance. You know what I mean, for this team. And with the Knicks, this is the thing. The Pacers do that. The Knicks go 7, 8 deep, 8 at most.
At most,
I think they're going to need to go.
I think to go deeper.
They're going to need to go 8,
preferably 9, but they don't think they have 9.
Well, campaign.
Well, look, he's got to play this series, and he's got to play well.
Is he? Because no, for real. Because I think Precious Achiuwa to me is interesting in this series. Yeah. I think from a switchability perspective, from a versatility perspective, I know you're going to have Mitch coming off the bench, and obviously you're going to have Deuce McBride. Deuce McBride also, he's big in this series because like you need bench scoring in this series. He's going to have to shoot
it well this series, like in the last series.
He looked good against Boston. Looked very good. And if he could, again, survive at the point of attack against these guys who low-key, like guards who can be physical as well, Nembhard in particular.
Very physical.
Big series. If Deuce could hold up in this series, you have earned your money, sir. And then the Pacers are going to have to answer some questions about like what. All right, the Knicks do have a lot of options. Like if OG is hitting shot, if they're getting the OG corner three, like they were in the latter portion of that Celtics series, and OG is knocking those down, that's a problem for Indy.
For sure.
Mikal Bridges, he comes and goes, but he has these 7, 8, 9 point runs where he's just like dribbling into that fadeaway. You know what I mean? In that mid-range area. And obviously he can knock down some threes. He won't get to the free throw line for shit, but he could score, and then obviously Jalen Brunson, like that's where a lot of this is going to ride on. So it's fascinating. I mean, what are you most, I guess, excited about now that we've talked like a bunch of strategy things? Like what are you most looking forward to about this series?
I want to see how Tyrese Halliburton approaches this series. And I think he's matured a lot, Brian, I feel like, in his game and how he plays. I thought very much, and he's still young, but very much like, I have to be the star kind of guy, right? I got to be the one taking the big shots and all that. I thought there was a lot of that last year, particularly. So remember, before he got hurt last season, I mean, he was easily all NBA. I mean, through 50 whatever games, I mean, It was not close. Like I was like, this guy is unreal. Then he got hurt the hamstrings and was never quite the same that the last year. This year, though, especially in the playoffs, Cleveland, we're going to face guard you and take you away. And he was fine with that. All right, I'll facilitate, I'll run decoy, right? Because you can't just leave, you can't ignore him because he's an elite shooter, right? Like, so, and he was happy doing other things to get the team going. And if that is sort of this newfound maturity in his game, I love that because he's going to, in many ways, read the game and give the game what it calls for. If I got to do 30 and 10 tonight, fine, I'll do 30 and 10. Only got to do 15 and 12, fine, I'll do 15 and 12. And if he's able to have that level of, I'll give you what you need, that's going to be just very exciting again, I have no dog in this fight. I don't care who wins. But from a basketball fan, that evolution and maturation is like, wow, that would be impressive to me. So I'm curious to see how Halliburton plays this series. Or does he get into I got to go back and forth with Jalen Brunson? Because Jalen has to do that for the Knicks because that's how they operate, right? But the Pacers have many more ways in which they can score.
I hope the Knicks, all teams make it through healthy. I hope the Knicks get through healthy, though, in particular, because Brunson's ankle has been an issue all playoffs. OG's hamstring looked like it was acting up in that Celtics series toward the end. He made some shots last game, but now he gets time to recover. Hamstrings are very tricky.
Sure are.
So we'll see what happens there. And then also kalr-Anthony Towns' is thumb. That's
not shooting him.
I don't think so, but still, I'm very, very, very excited for this series. Let's do predictions.
I think Carlisle is a bit more pragmatic and is more willing to tinker and than Tibbs is. They beat him last year. They're better this year. I know the Knicks are better. I'm going to go Pacers in 6.
My initial knee jerk has been Knicks in 7. For now, I will stay there, but
any kind of injury is going to change your mind quickly, I imagine.
Because, and I'm not going to say I'm expecting it, but it's just, it would be a pleasant surprise for them to make it through healthy just because of the pace, the injuries, the lingering injuries is what I mean. But then also just every other day playing against this nuisance of a team.
And it could be one of those things, Brian, where there's an injury. You don't have to necessarily be out. Players can play with it. Like we learned, Jalen Brunson, I was playing on a torn meniscus, right? Like that can happen, right?
Jalen Brown.
I'm sorry, Jalen Brown,
yeah.
Right? So just because they're not out doesn't mean they're not injured, right?
Yeah.
And
at this point of the year, everyone's banged up.
Everyone's dealing with something.
There's worse things there. But I think, by the way, I don't think the Pacers have to win in 6. I know that's a narrative that I'm seeing.
They won Game 7 on the road last year, so I'm not.
Yeah, and home court is just not like the Knicks are better on the road. You know what I mean? Home court is not that important. And the Pacers have proven they could win at MSG. They've proven they could win on the road. Period. You know what I mean? Like against Cleveland, they just closed Cleveland out on the road. Milwaukee, they did not close on the road,
but they beat Milwaukee on the road.
But they beat Milwaukee in Milwaukee.